What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today I'm going to be sharing my new aiming drill for Black Ops 7's multiplayer. This is an excellent way to improve your aim over time, or just to use for a warm-up as well before hopping in. And it's something I do pretty much every year on the channel, and this year especially, I've had a lot of people asking for this. Since we are dealing with reduced aim assist this time around, a lot of people are struggling to adapt, and this will help you get a good feel for that as well. So without further ado, let's dive right into the setup for this, and then we'll be explaining exactly what you should be doing throughout the drill in order to maximize the effectiveness of this. Alright, so let's dive into the setup here. We want to create a private match, and for our modes, we're going to be using free-for-all. However, in the game's current state, you have to add your bots before you select free-for-all at least, which is the mode we're going to be using. So add your bots, doesn't matter which team you add them to, they're going to rebalance once free-for-all is selected. And the recommended number of bots here is somewhere between 7 to 9 bots, and this is what's going to determine the difficulty level of this drill. So if you're really confident, I'd go with 9 bots. If you're not super confident, I'd drop it down to 7 or just somewhere in between. I'm gonna go with 9 here, and we wanna set them to recruit difficulty because they're really just meant to be targets. We don't want them killing us constantly and really disrupting our flow because this drill is all about getting into a flow state and getting as many reps in as possible. They're just targets, that's all they're meant to be. So now that we have our bots added, then we go to our modes and select free-for-all. And then it should just rebalance, so it's a proper free-for-all setup here. Then for our map, I've found retrieval is the best for this drill because it provides a good variety of different ranges with the way that we're going to be playing the drill, as well as different elevations. So it's really going to get you practicing aiming up and down as well as left and right. And also, again, multiple distances. For our rules for your time and score limit, this is just whatever you decide in the moment. If you want to go for 100 kills, set it to 100. If you want to go for 10 minutes, set it to 10 minutes. Just set it wherever you feel comfortable with or whatever you have time for in that moment. Then I just drop my match start time to 5 seconds just to save a little bit of time there. Next, for our health values, I like just going with the heavy duty health. This generally forces you to hit that extra bullet, sometimes extra 2 bullets depending on the range, which means you just have to stay on target a little bit longer without it being totally overkill. If you go much higher than that, then you just find yourself reloading more than anything. And then we will set our health regeneration to fast. Now, getting into the team settings, for our radar always on, I like going with fast sweep on this just because constant is often bugged out in this game and doesn't work properly. And it's been the same way in recent years as well. So fast sweep just always seems to work properly. Then in the gameplay tab, I just like turning off field upgrades as well as score streaks, just so there's nothing that really gets in the way to interrupt our flow, and we really don't need to use field upgrades or score streaks for this drill. So that's a basic match setup. Next, let's talk about the class setup that I'd recommend, or at least the keys that I would recommend here. Of course, you could branch out and use other things if you want, but for me, I like using the AK-27 for this because it's got a moderate fire rate, and therefore you're really gonna notice if you miss shots, much more so than something like the M15. And yet it's also quite an accurate gun, especially when you put Gunfighter on, which I would recommend, and stack heavy on recoil attachments. These are attachments that I'm using on here. And the reason we want to minimize our recoil is we're practicing our aim, not so much how to control the recoil on a particular gun. We just want to be honing in on our aim and how we're able to handle our aim. So reducing recoil helps a lot with that. And then a big key here is you do want to use the biggest magazine available, which in this case is the 50-round mag, just so we're not reloading nearly as often to break up our flow. Now after that, the other keys here are the stim shot, just so when you take damage, you can just quickly stim up and get back in the fight. Again, keeping that flow state going. That's really what all the decisions are based around here. And then the other must-have here is scavenger, so you can replenish your ammo and keep your life going. So again, you can keep that flow state up. Everything else is pretty much optional. We're not really going to be bothering with it anyway. And with all of that, you can dive into the match, and now I want to explain exactly what you should be doing and focusing on to really get the most out of this drill. But before we get into that, I did want to give a quick shout out to Kontrol Freak. This is something I haven't promoted on the channel in a long time, and yet I've been affiliate of theirs for ages. I've been using their products daily for, I think we're coming up on 15 years at this point, so a really long time. I use these products every single day. For those that aren't familiar with Kontrol Freaks, this is a thumbstick attachment. It just clips on, and the idea behind this is it raises the height of your analog stick, which gives you more range of motion and therefore more fine control over your aim. And then on top of that, of course, there are different heights to these, different shapes, different grip types, so you can really pick the ones that best suit you. For me, I've always been a fan of a standard height concave stick, and I only ever use one on my right stick, because that's where you need the most fine control. So I've always been a big fan of the Infernos, but they also have the brand new special edition Black Ops 7 sticks, and this comes with 2 different sizes, a mid-rise as well as a high-rise. So you can play around with each of those heights for yourself. And with the holiday season coming up as well, these are an excellent stocking stuffer for any gamer in your life. And if you guys are interested in checking these out, I will leave a link down below. If you use the code exclusive at checkout, you will get a discount on that. And then, of course, I will be getting a kickback from that sale. And with that out of the way, let's get back into the aiming drill and what we should be focusing on once you actually get into the game. And again, just a reminder, this is all about getting the reps in and getting into a flow state. And the important part of getting reps in with anything that you're practicing is getting good reps in. And your primary focus here is your aim. That's what comes first before anything else. You really want to focus on trying to hit literally every single bullet that you can. I mean, it's okay if you overfire by a bullet or two, like after you kill somebody, but you want to try to make sure not only your first shot is on target, but you're also staying on target throughout the entire gunfight until the enemy is dead. And that's what comes before anything else we mention here. Now, with that, in order to maximize your success there, you also want to be focusing on centering, which is keeping your sights up and where you expect the next enemy to be. And in this case, it's generally not hard to expect where the next enemy is going to be because we have that fast sweep on the minimap. So it's less about trying to figure out where enemies are and more about just making sure you're getting in the habit of keeping your sights up and where you expect to see your target before you actually see your target. So then when you do see your target, all you have to do is aim down sight and you're already on target. Now, as far as where to position yourself and how to play it, on this map, I've really found that if I'm just roaming somewhere around the middle part of the map, so like up on the bridge, don't be afraid to drop down to the lower parts as well, and then maybe roam a little bit around there as well and kind of rotate yourself around so you are moving consistently. That seems to yield a good variety of gunfights and a good consistency of gunfights as well. Like I said, this map works really well for getting a variety of ranges with your gunfights. So when you're on the bridge, you'll sometimes see people at a bit of a distance. You want to take those fights so you can practice that. Then you're going to have people that rush right up close to you. You want to take those fights as well, and everything in between. And with that, as you're roaming around, getting your kills, focusing on aim before anything else, as you start getting more and more confident and you're noticing your aim is on point, you're hitting all your shots, things are going really well, now you want to start picking up the pace a little bit, start focusing a bit more on speed without sacrificing aim. And if you do notice that as you speed up, your aim is starting to suffer, slow it down again. Refocus on your aim. You don't want to be putting sloppy practice in because then sloppy is the habit you are developing. But ideally, we do want to be able to get up to a pretty decent pace, mix some movement into the equation, throw some slides in there every now and then as well. Try to slide around a corner to challenge an enemy, again, without sacrificing your aim. And the goal is to just get to a point where you're just locked in, you're in that flow state where you're just going kill after kill after kill really quickly, really accurately. And if you can get that going on a consistent basis, you're going to be seeing very rapid improvement with this drill if you're doing it consistently. And to some, it might seem kind of silly, but professional Call of Duty players do this all the time. They're shooting bots constantly. And it really does make a big difference with your aim if you're doing this consistently and you're focusing on the right things. Now, one little variation that I know is popular with some people, I don't personally like doing this, but a lot of people swear by turning your aim assist off while doing this drill. And then when you go back into a real game, you turn your aim assist back on. And since you've been practicing without aim assist and now you suddenly have it, the theory behind that is you're suddenly going to be aiming that much better because you're getting that assistance that wasn't helping you before. For me, it's all about practicing with the tools that you use in game, and it is going to have a very different feel with or without aim assist. And I would rather practice with the tools that I'm planning on using in an actual match. So I know how aim assist is going to react in various situations intuitively because I've built that muscle memory up. So I personally recommend keeping aim assist on, but you might want to try that alternative of turning it off during the drill and then turning it back on in real games. And there we go. That's pretty much it. That's the drill I've been using to really get a good feel for this new style of aim assist. And I've been very happy with the results already. And I plan on continuing to do this over time as well. And this is where I want to hear from you guys in those comments down below. How have you been adapting to the newer style of aim assist in Black Ops 7 so far? And do you plan on doing this drill going forward to help improve that even more? Just let me know down below, and don't forget to check out Kontrol Freeks. Again, I will leave a link in the description down below for those that may be interested. If you enjoyed this video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.